and chairman of their board. It was a very good meeting. One of the first times that we've been directly updated about their activities. We will have them, as I mentioned earlier this afternoon, to meet with our council. One of the things that's in our budget is support for them so that they can update their equipment as they service every resident of Madison County, and Berea does want to play their part in that activity. This coming Saturday morning at 10 a.m. we will have a public auction of some really nice cars and some computer equipment and various things that's been surplused by the city, and Mr. Truman Fields will be the auctioneer of the hour. So that's it. That's it.
Sold.
We are working presently on a fix on Water Street for a water problem we have there. We're building a berm to try to protect some property there. The water will be coming out on the street. We know that it's going to come out on the street, so we will close that street if we have a large rainstorm. And we will make sure that we put up some signs and the people in that area know that. And as I say, this is a fix, a temporary fix, and we hope in the this spring or this fall, late summer and fall, to be able to bid out that project for a permanent fix. Highland Drive, once we finish with the Water Street, we have a problem. We've been trying to look at a large regional fix on on Highland Drive near Mr. Taylor's property, or on Mr. Taylor's property. We finally came back to the simplest thing we could possibly do, and that's to put a yard grate in. We feel like the neighbors are going to work with us, and we'll be able to pipe the water over the hill on the other side of the street and solve that problem. As soon as we complete the work on Water Street, we will move to Highland Drive and do that project. Mr. Mayor, if you will speak questions this afternoon when you were out of the room about the Southern Growth policies during your time frame, if you will. Another update that I want to bring to you: for the last 5 or 6 months, we have been seeking a replacement for Mr. Blackburn at the utilities. We have had a group of people, the mayor, Steve Boyce, Virgil Burnside, Glenn Jennings, and myself. We have gone through a number of applications and resumes, narrowed it down, kept narrowing it down till this past week. We were down to 5 individuals. And last Thursday we brought all 5, or last Wednesday we brought all 5 people in for an interview. We brought them in. We took each one of the candidates to the utilities. Our utilities had an 1.5 to 2 hour presentation of the utility operation and how they do business, and introduced them to all of our management staff. And I want to commend and thank them for the job that they did, because every applicant that we had as we interviewed them made mention of the welcome feeling that they had, and also the wealth of knowledge that each of them gained during that time at our utility. So I want to thank Donald and Mike and their team for what they did to help in this process. Then they came up to City Hall, and for 2 hours or 2 hours plus, each one of them went through a question and answer period with us. We have brought that down to 1 individual. We have talked to you all about this earlier. We will finalize his offer, or talk to him in the morning, and have him come in as soon as possible to meet with the council. His name is Ed Fortner. He is presently with Aqua America in Pennsylvania, and so we will be bringing him in to meet with and to be introduced to the council. Mr. Blackburn will be leaving the last of July, so it would be very advantageous for us to have this individual in at least 6 weeks before Mr. Blackburn leaves, and that's our goal. Any questions?
Questions for Mr. Stone? Thank you for that report. I just have one matter. As we discussed at a previous meeting on economic development, the Southern Growth Policy Group has been working with members of the county in terms of a county economic development or strategic planning approach. There was a meeting, I believe it was on May 7th. Mr. Stone and I attended. Representatives from Berea College were there, along with Eastern, the chambers of Richmond and Berea, various other groups, including the depot and other interested parties. At that meeting, as you can see from this email, there were at first 8 areas, and then areas of potential collective agreement where if this was a part of the strategic thinking, all groups would very likely benefit. The collective opinion at the end of the meeting was that we should continue to try to gather input on areas where we have shared interests that could benefit by this cooperative effort. Communicate those areas to the Southern Growth people, have them fold that into their proposed planning ideas and see what the result is. You can see from this list that the process is still open. So if you have additional ideas or areas, please let us know. Examples of areas where the entire county could benefit in one way or another. It has been suggested that the Madison County Airport, the Bluegrass Army Depot activity, and eventually possibly the land where it is located. Workforce development connected to the diverse industries in the county is an area where efforts, strategies could provide support, benefits, rewards for everybody. Tourism, traditional culture and ecotourism, shared use or biking and hiking trails linking recreational and scenic areas. A single industrial and light industry recruitment effort was suggested. Entrepreneurship, education, and support. Targeted development of agricultural sectors such as farmers markets, wineries, organic vegetables, and meat growing. Technology or e-government solutions. There could be some good synergies for a technology corridor. Shared e-government solutions was a suggestion. And then lastly, arts and culture, noting that the EKU Center for the Arts, the Kentucky Artisan Center, and the Arts and Craft activities, the studio artists, are all located here together. So these were ideas where the groups suggested that we have these circles, and where they overlap, there would be opportunities for multiple benefits throughout the different levels of our county activities. We will continue to talk. If you all would continue to think, if you, number one, can see other areas of potential regional or countywide opportunity, and ultimately it's going to come back to the council as to whether this would be an activity that the council would like Berea to be participating in. And I think from the previous discussion there was basic level of interest. We wanted to see how much our contribution would be expected to be. I think estimated overall cost of $35,000, $10,000 had been pledged so far, but I will continue to report back as we hear more information. In the meantime, if you look up Southern Policy Growth